Okay, well, if y'all think of things that you have coming up that you want to share, we'll come back to this at the end. And you can also stick them in the chat box if you want to, and I can add them to our resource share that goes out as well. So while y'all are thinking about what you have going on, I want to ask our ETSU students to share some updates. So as many of you may be aware, we have an amazing group of students who are working with Dr. Debbie Slauson to really evaluate the CCC, and not only that, but also create a toolkit so that if other communities want to do this as well, that they would have kind of our successes and barriers and tips and tricks and all of those things. So I was going to ask her students, she has 3 groups of students, and so if each of them wanted to give an update quickly on progress or anything you need from the full collaborative, we'll ask you to share that with us.
Yes, I believe we have 3 students that are joining us here today. So I think the first group focusing on the survey, saw that Gabby was there, and anyone else want to discuss your update?
Sorry, my audio had just gone out for the last 10 seconds, but I can go real quick. So hello, everybody. I don't know if everybody knows me. I'm Gabriela Abrego. I am a second-year Doctor of Public Health student, and we're helping Doctors Mathis, Slauson, and Pettyjohn along with this evaluation. So as many of you may have already seen, there's been an email that's been sent out on October 4th regarding recruitment for our online survey that's currently live, and also for the qualitative interviews that we'll be conducting as well. So the first step to the evaluation is completing the online survey. It'll take about 10 minutes to complete, and this helps with the ongoing efforts. If you haven't received an email, we will be putting information in the chat box here shortly with all the contact information and the link. But if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We'll have our emails in there as well. And I'll pass it off to Hopeland.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hopeland, and just like Gabby, I am a second-year GRPH student at ETSU. We are really excited to be working on an evaluation with your team. So I just really want to emphasize the importance of it and what your role is. So we really just want to see how the CCC is really collaborating well together, how things are going. This is really your platform to help improve things, or if you want to go ahead and talk about things that are already going really well that you do not want to change, that you think is amazing. This is really for you to help things move along really quick, not necessarily quickly, but really well. So the interviews, I know a lot of people don't really like interviews. Let me just explain, this is really your time, your voice. So if you have a certain amount of time that you can devote, by all means, we will respect those time constraints. We really just want to help you, to help all of you. So keep that in mind as you're scheduling these interviews. Just let us know. We are flexible and we are happy to all work together. And I will pass it on to Jake next.
Hello, I'm Jake Schultz. I'm with the ETSU evaluation team as well. Our focus for our component of the team is a toolkit. So creating tangible, kind of practical things for you to use that shows you some kind of progress or what's going on, what's working, and that sort of thing. So we're just pretty much hoping to cover and create a tool that covers some of the express needs you have that you've informed with us that you have a need to kind of develop, and what's working, what's not. And we're trying to adapt these evaluation processes, and that includes, say, a strategic plan, some kind of structure to approach your work, process markers for data. So we're using data to say, okay, here's some of the things that have been indicated as a success. You know, it's good to have those indicators to show that you're progressing and in some kind of way to have a tangible interaction with your community and what's going on, and kind of have a finger on the pulse, so to speak, of what's happening. And then some sustainability options possibly, and we're looking into that. Right now, because of the nature of the organization being quite just developing and coming along the way and growing, we're going to keep it as such. And so we're hoping to extend this to Unicoi County as well, kind of a similar program to extend that. So our toolkit will focus on developing those components.
Thank you all so much for being here. If anybody has any questions for them or questions about the work they're doing, feel free to stick those in the chat. They'll be around for the next few minutes. Or Dr. Slauson shared her email in the chat as well, so feel free to reach out to her. And again, please just know how important this is. We want to evaluate this collaborative, make sure that it is benefiting our community and it's benefiting your agencies. So please share feedback with the students, work with them, and so we can make sure we're doing the best we can at serving our community. So thank y'all for being here. All right. Anybody think of any things they want to share before we move on? Any upcoming events or activities?
Hey Jillian, it's Lacey and Emily with the Extension office. We put it in the chat, but we just wanted to let everybody know that in partnership with Jillian, we are putting on a healthy crockpot and tailgate and grilling lunch on October 14th, next Thursday from 11 to 1. We're going to be having some chili tasting and some measuring spices and cutting up onions and doing all sorts of fun stuff. So come by and see us at Douglas Park. And then Emily, go ahead.
So we have in 4-H right now, we are taking registration for our dairy beef feeder calf program. And if you're not familiar with that, we are putting calves in the hands of our young people so that they can have that opportunity to raise a dairy beef animal. And our registration finishes up November 1st. So we have all month still to get signed up. And if you have questions, reach out to us, and we'll have more animal projects coming up in the next few months.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I'm gonna add the Facebook link to what Lacey shared as well. So y'all please come see us next week. This is kind of CCC's first public event. And so we're really excited to be out at the park and sharing some healthy tailgating and healthy crockpot recipes. So please come if y'all are interested in that. Anybody else have anything they want to share before we move on?
I'll pop in really quick. I'm Marissa with Village Behavioral Health. Probably the biggest announcement that we have is we do have a new CEO. Clay McCoy has left us. It's very sad. Our new CEO now is Chris Shields. And also we are opening up a cabin so we could take 11 to 12-year-olds. Currently, we're taking 13 to 17, but we are hoping to lower that threshold because there's just such a need in this area. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Marissa, will you share how to send referrals to that program?
I sure will, and I'll give you our updated calendar too, so folks can see what our kids are doing at the cabins.
Okay, Jillian, I've got one thing, of course. Laugh now. So I will be going, Sarah Melton from the College of Pharmacy at ETSU, and I usually partner up for RAM. Her students will be doing the Narcan education. So if you have individuals that need free Narcan, this is the place to be. I am also setting up a table of resources for anybody. So if you're not going to RAM, it's going to be in gray. I think it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will be there from open to close on all 3 days. If you have resources that you would like to get out and you're not going to be there, I will be happy to share them. So if you, my information, I'm going to put my number in here. You can text me or email me. I'll be glad to come by and pick it up because we need as many resources out there to people that they can get. So I'm excited to help with that. I will have 2 tables. So let me know what you want me to take and give me just a little blip on it and we'll get it out there for people, okay? So.
I have one thing. The ETSU's Community Out of the Darkness Walk for Suicide Prevention is on Sunday, October 17th from 2 to 5. So I will put the link for registration in the chat if anyone is
Thank you. Anybody else have anything to share before we move on?
I do. This is Judy McCook. Sorry, my hair is soaking wet. It is not dirty. I just need to let you know that the Help Sarah grant really had planned this beautiful human trafficking workshop for October 22nd, invited all of you and everybody to it, and found out that the Child Advocacy Center was planning something the same day, same time, and same topic, human trafficking. So we've canceled ours and we're going to invite you to theirs. So I'm going to put that in the chat. Okay. And we're really embarrassed. We had invited one of the same speakers who said, I'm tied up until noon, but I can come afterwards. So, and I was like, where are you speaking? And they were, I didn't know. So anyway, we got to do better about collaborating so this didn't happen. So anyway, it was an easy fix for us. We're thrilled and we want to invite all of you to attend.
Oh, one more thing, Jillian. I got accepted to postgraduate school for my psych certification. If you know me, you know mental health is closest to my heart. Substance use disorder, it's like my mission in life now. And so just hands up, people. 52 going back to school, rock and roll.
That's awesome. I have a question about the park. Where is Douglas Park? And yay for you for going back to school. I don't know Douglas Park.
I'm looking up the address right now for you. So this is kind of strategic for us too, because we have a lot of little amazing parks tucked away in Carter County that a lot of people don't know about, and Douglas Park is one of these. So it says it is at the intersection of Watauga and Church Street. It's really near the Elizabethton City Schools main office.
Elizabeth, okay, because okay, that looks more, because I put it in my Google Maps and it was taking me out past Boone, and I was like, I don't think that's the park they're talking about. Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
Yes. All right. Anybody else have anything to share before we move on?
Just to piggyback off Sherry, very excited that you're going to be there, Sherry, and everybody that's going to be at RAM. If you want your organization to have their own table at RAM, whether it's one day or all three, reach out. I have an application. I think Jane has been sending it out in the resources, so it's there as well, a link to it. And if your organization isn't able to be there, definitely just let the people that you serve know that RAM is coming. Sherry was right, November 5, 6, and 7. It's free. You don't have to provide any insurance or any paperwork. Almost all of the services are first come, first serve, and it's dental, vision, medical.
Thank you. Can we all just also say thank you to Jane for doing such an amazing job of sending all of these things out. It has been so helpful for us to have her compiling these resources and sharing them. So yay, thanks, Jane. Okay, anybody have anything else before we move on?
Okay, hi, it's Caroline from Tennessee Voices Survivor Connection Program. Now, we don't have anything going on, but I do want to let you know that I actually reside in Carter County, and I only have one client on my program from Carter County. So I just wanted to let you all know about our Survivor Connection Program. We're here, and it's a free program. We serve any clients from 0 to 24 that have experienced any type of trauma. So we come into the home one time per week. Right now we're doing it through Zoom because of COVID, but we do meet with the parents and the clients. And our goal is to empower parents to know about ACEs, to know about trauma and the effects of trauma. We connect them to parenting classes. We connect them also to resources in the community. And I just wanted to let you all know that we are here and we work through referrals. And like I said, this is a grant-based program, so it is a free program for our families in Carter County.
Thank you so much for sharing. How do we refer people to that program?
I put my email on the chat box, so if anyone is interested, I can send them a referral form and our flyer as well.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so with that, we will move into the next part of our meeting, which is our sharing session where we highlight our community partners and people that you might want to partner with. So we have two speakers today. Our first one is Shannon Payne. He is the director of the Peak Mentor Program, which serves Carter and Johnson counties. And so I will turn it over to Shannon.
What's happening, people? Good afternoon. Joan, can I please share the screen?
Try it now.
Right. Okay, well, I got a little thing here I want to do, but anyway, just a little real quick. What we do, we currently have a little bit over 20 mentors in our program. We just expanded to Johnson County. We currently have 10 matches going on. This stuff is really good stuff. Just to see the kids change through the adversities they're going through and make better choices. And the things that they're doing and getting out with these caring adults and having such a good time. They're going horseback riding. We've split the bill for some Tweetsy passes and some meals over there. We've done some nutrition classes with UT Extension, which was a wonderful class. We had a foraging class that got postponed. And we've just been doing a ton of events and just trying to get word out about the program, doing a couple after school programs in Johnson County, getting mentors, doing some group mentoring up there and getting involved. But I just want to just share a little bit about what we do real fast. Sherry, you're the only person I see. Can you see that? Okay, thank you. Well, again, just Peak Mentors, promoting the single among kids. I guess we're about over a year and a half year old. Started this program back January 6, 2021, with help of the National Parks and Rec Association and Carter County Drug Prevention. We've been able to make this happen. And we got this other grant that just extended us sustainability for another 26 to 28 months up in the Johnson County area. And it's a wonderful program. It's free. It's completely free. There's no cost to this program whatsoever. And I'm just really happy to be a part of this and all the mentors and through this presentation, they're going to be pictures and stuff of our mentors and different things that's going on with the program. So again, why is mentoring important? So what we do at Mentor, we fight adversity. And right here in Central Appalachia, all of us being human services professionals, we know what's going on around here. We know exactly what the needs are and everything what our community needs. And we was put here. Our program was to fight the opioid epidemic and to try to break the cycle of adversity that these kids are going through. It's not the kids' fault they're having to go through this. It's the kids are completely innocent. And so we try to promote healthy relationships to instill qualities such as respect, honesty, trust, and friendship. Right here is one of our newest matches. This is Terry and her mentee. This is a Johnson County match. She is a dog trainer. And it's a wonderful, wonderful addition to our program. And we base our matches on interest. So her mentee here loves animals, loves horses, and loves all the things about animals. So I had Terry is a dog trainer and has animals and is a rescue partner and stuff like that. So it was just a perfect match for them. And we had them up here at McDonald's up in Mountain City and made the match up there. And they've been getting along great ever since. It's wonderful. What is a mentor? It's an experienced, trusted advisor, a wise, loyal advisor as well. You know, a teacher and a coach, someone to look up to, a positive influence to look up to. A mentee. This right here was a picture at Covered Bridge Days. As just we just had a great time at Covered Bridge Days. I was down there 3 days promoting the program and talked to a lot of good folks down there. And we're close to 500 likes on our Facebook page, which is huge for me and the program. And people had actually heard about Peak Mentors. And I was like, oh, really? And I got to talk to so many different people, and just to know that people are actually starting to know that we have a program and we're going to be around for a while. We're not going anywhere. We're sustained for another, I don't know, I have to, Jillian's real, but I know we're here for at least 3 to 4 more years. So, and hopefully we'll keep going after that, which I'm sure we will. But a mentee, a person who is advised, trained, or counseled by a mentor. Right here's another match of ours. This is in Johnson County as well. The 2 mentors right there are sister-in-laws. They're sister-in-laws. So it's kind of cool. They've been doing all kinds of things. They've been going horseback riding, hiking, shopping. They've done all kinds of cool stuff with these. They went to Tweetsie, and we fit the bill for that completely. Got them $100 in Tweetsie bucks. They didn't have to spend a dime for anything, for food, and they had souvenirs and everything the whole day, and they just absolutely loved it. And we're blessed to have them a part of our program. But anyway, Peak Mentors help at-risk youth. So again, what are at-risk youth? This is another match of ours. This is a wonderful match. They've been doing all kinds of cool things. They like to shop and do nails. That's their thing. They get their nails done every week. So that's just something that they do, and they get to talk and they talk. And our matches are completely confidential unless, you know, we have to break the bounds of confidentiality. And I believe everyone knows that, you know, suicidal ideations, child abuse, sexual mental abuse, elder abuse as well. So whatever the mentors say to each other is completely confidential unless they have to break that confidentiality. We try to keep a nice ethical program running. But what are some of the factors that could lead children to be identified as at risk? And here's some of the risk factors. You know, poverty. Carter County, almost a quarter of the population in Carter County is experiencing poverty. You know, it's like 23.9% of the people with a household median income around $33,000. You know, people with low income families are more likely to be, that come from low income families, a lot more likely to be teen mothers, you know, be in gang activity. We have gangs around here, delinquent behavior, use drugs, smoke cigarettes. You know, we know all the things. And nearly, I think all of my mentees right now fall. Yes, all my mentees fall below the poverty line at this moment. Juvenile delinquency is another big risk factor in youth, which we try to help with these kids. You know, school and community risk factors, family risk factors, individual, peer risk factors. You know, the presence of one or more of these increases the likelihood that one of these kids involved in these risk factors will actually be in the court system. One of the biggest ones, you know, is, you know, family, home dysfunction. We all know this, you know, divorce, parents incarcerated, substance abuse disorder, lots of violence, mother being mistreated, you know, mental health issues, depression, anxiety, just to name a few, is another risk factor. And we also take kids that have poor study habits. I actually have a match right now where the mentee is teaching a mentor. A mentor is teaching a mentee how to read. It's a special case. We take kids 7 to 17, but this mentee is 18, and he's a special needs case. So we're allowing him to stay in the program through a steering committee vote, and they're doing wonderful work with his reading. And he just got a job at Subway, and he's doing really well. So again, what are these risk factors better known as? And we all know them as adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. We all know ACEs is a potentially traumatic event that can occur 0 to 17. They're likely to be linked to health problems, mental illness, chronic health problems, substance abuse disorder, all the bad things, all the things that we try to prevent. Of course, they can have long-lasting effects on health, well-being, and opportunity. Kids, whenever they grow up, they have more likely to have promiscuous sex, get sexual transmitted diseases, teen pregnancy, sex trafficking, which was human trafficking, I think was talked about earlier. Wide range of chronic diseases, lung, the big three, especially here in Appalachia, the diseases of despair, suicide, overdose, and cirrhosis of the liver. ACEs are associated with conditions such as undersourced, being in segregated neighborhoods, frequent moving, food insecurity. We just got done with a feeding program with Peak Mentors. We had a 14-month-long program where we partnered up with Carter County Drug Prevention and the Elizabeth Public Library, and every Wednesday for 14 months, we gave out lunches and we gave out activities to kids, and we gave out average about 75 per Wednesday. And total was we gave over 5,000 meals in 14 months on Wednesdays and activities to go along with those acts. And people come through as the same people, almost the same people come through every Wednesday. And it's a wonderful program. We had to close the doors on it, but we would love to be a part of that. Ashley Williams and Harley and Bernadette let us come down there and do that. And it was a wonderful, wonderful program, and I hated to see it go, but we made a small impact with people experiencing food insecurity here in Carter County. Toxic stress. We all know the effects. With this poor kid right here, they just don't know. There's just so much things going on in their mind. They can't. It ain't what's wrong with you, it's what's happened to you, and that's the kids that we try to help. And this is kind of cool. If there's anything cool about ACEs, you guys are familiar with the hierarchy of needs of Maslow and stuff, and how it starts off with the basic needs and then goes up to self-actualization. But this is a kind of a cool pyramid that talks about ACEs, how ACEs start at the bottom, and then the next gap, the social, emotional, cognitive impairment from the adverse childhood experiences, from the household dysfunction and all the things. And then boom, adoption of health risk behaviors. And then boom, you get your big three, diseases of despair or what have you, and then early death, 6 or higher ACEs, 20 years off your life. But I think this is a cool representation of ACEs. High ACEs squared in the death sentence. It isn't the light at the end of the tunnel. They can't be preventable. That's where we come in. That's where resilience comes in. Nurturing relationships and environments. All children can prevent ACEs to help them where they can reach their full potential. With our help, being mentors help. Right, here's another mentee match. This is John Cobb. What a man. Met 5 presidents. He's a drill instructor. He's trained over 100,000 Marines, Navy SEALs. His last service was with the Presidential Helicopter Squadron. He's had dinner with presidents. He's part of our program. And he's going to be helping us with the group mentoring, one of our pieces in Johnson County, where we meet up with a group mentoring for 10 mentees. And we sit down and we talk about, we have a a framework that we talk about over 16 weeks for 1 hour a week, and he's going to be a part of that. And this is his mentee right here, and it's just amazing to to see this happening. It's just wonderful. I love to be a part of it. And here's another one of our matches. This is the Muhlenbergs. They're both pilots. Jenny Muhlenberg is a trainer. She trains pilots. And Mark, he is actually retired Air Force, and he still flies back and forth to Saudi Arabia twice a month. So he flies a big plane. He just said, he said, you won't understand, that's 5 big planes. I'm like, okay, man, that sounds good to me. But it's amazing just to see. They've been hiking and fishing, and they've done all kinds of things right here. It's just amazing to see these relationships evolve. But mentoring is important work because mentees can learn so much from mentors. It decreases, increases, what's the word I'm looking for? It increases the chances of them actually becoming out of their cycles of adversity so they can be successful in life. It often involves other elements, mentoring, coaching, life skills training. And that's basically our aspect in Johnson County. We're working on 2 after-school programs, one at the community center and one with a partnership of Mountain City Elementary School. We will know something about the Mountain City Elementary School after fall break, but it's weird that one came up because since we've been doing a lot of remote learning, kids are kind of getting out of the habit or don't know how to socialize anymore, which is something I really hadn't thought about. So that has came up, and we're going to do the after school program, if they allow us to, at Mountain City Elementary for communication skills and socialization skills. That's going to be an hour a week for a whole entire year. And we'll see how that goes. We might do it more than once a week. We're going to see what the principal says and how that's going. So we should hear something about that. Not next week, but I believe the next week after that, because Johnson County, fall break is next week. So we're looking forward to that if that happens, which I'm pretty sure it will. There's benefits for mentoring. We got increased high school graduation rates, lower dropout rates, higher chances that kids will go to college. There's just so much positive stuff that can happen for these kids, just by having a positive relationship with their life. Most people who are actually successful have at least 3 people in their life that is not family, at least positive influences in their life that is not family. Anyone who's successful. That's what science tells us. And why we mentor is because they are innocent and because they're our future. And we're going to advocate for them, and we're going to try and help them in any way we can. And this is another mentee in our project at the UT Extension nutrition class. But I just want to give a brief opportunity for everyone. This is a free training that's happening October 22nd at Carter County Drug Prevention Coalition at 10 o'clock. This is trauma recognition and suicide prevention in teens and psychological first aid. This is a 7.5-hour certified training, and of course you will get your education credits with this. And this is an absolutely free training for anyone to attend. We'll be providing lunch. Just go on Eventbrite. I'll put that in the chat as soon as I'm done talking if you want to go sign up. And this will be a great opportunity to get some more education credits. Being in the human services, we always got to be on top of things and try to get education wherever we can, especially if it's free. And so the psychological first aid, really looking forward to that. And I think it's going to be a wonderful program. This will be provided by a spinoff of the Wounded Warriors Project called Operation Angel Wing. Very great group of people. And they said they usually, always go with military stuff, but they would come up here from North Carolina to give us this training. So I thought it was awful nice of them to come up here. So October 22nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., completely free. We're going to feed you dinner or feed you lunch. Come on up and learn something cool and make some connections and all the things. And this time I'll give the floor to the virtual world if anybody's got any questions for me. And
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do we make a referral?
That's a great question. We take referrals. We get most of our referrals from the school systems, but I have a sheet where I can just, I can send the link, put the link in the chat, or you can email me and I can send you a referral form.
Okay.
And that'd be great. Yeah, that's how we get, and we take, it's all volunteer. Our mentors, it's all volunteer. It's an hour, it's a year-long commitment for a minimum of 1 hour a week for a whole entire year. But none of my matches are an hour. It's anywhere from 3 to 5 hours every week. And it's just wonderful to watch them grow and be a part of that. But yeah, I have a Google Doc, so I'll put that in the chat as well. Anybody wants to email me, Elizabeth and Mentors at CarterCountyDrugPrevention.org. But I'll put all that information in the chat after we get done here.
Awesome. What a great program. I'm so excited to know about it now. And also I need to add that the screen I'm looking at right now with Mario under the block, I don't know why, but it makes my heart very happy. Do the referrals well, I do know why, but do the referrals and the kids that are linked up, do they have to live in Carter County?
No, as long as we're in the area, Carter County area, Johnson County area.
Johnson City.
Yeah, Johnson City's fine.
Okay, cool. Great. Thank you. This is awesome.
Thank you for listening. Yeah, we love our program. It's wonderful to have this program, and it's free. It's completely free, and it works. It's amazing that it works, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. And there's somebody right now just registered for the free training. So thank you. Any other questions? I'll turn it back over to Jillian, if not, and I'll put all that information in the chat.
And would you share what somebody would have to do to become a mentor if anybody were interested in being part of the program?
Oh yeah, of course. Contact me. It's the only thing it takes is someone 21 or older to be a mentor. I can't believe I left that out, but I did. They have to be 21 or older to be involved in a program, be able to pass a background check, give me 3 references, and give some time, give a little bit of time to pay it forward to a kid that is in need of a caring adult that could benefit from your skill. Whatever skill set you might have, utilize it, pay it forward, and give it to a kid for a year, and you'll have that relationship for the rest of your life. And you wouldn't believe that these mentors, they talk to me and they're like, man, Shannon, I just never thought how much fun this would be and how much of an impact I'm making, and how their mindset changes as the gears turn a little bit, and that positive, in that way, that way of success, and that way of going to college, and that way of maybe even going to military, whatever they want to do. It's just amazing to see that little bit of a nudge that pushes them in the right direction. It doesn't take much. It takes a little bit of love and a little bit of care and a little bit of time. And that's all it takes. And that's what we ask. We ask for our mentors just to give us a year of their life for an hour a week minimum. But like I said, and the days that you don't have to always meet up for an hour, talk to them on the phone, go play a board game, play cards, just go by and see them, it's, just be that positive person in their life that they can talk to in these completely confidential conversations. These kids need people to talk to. They don't feel I was up to community center yesterday in Johnson County. These kids are talking about their parents being on dope. And I'm like, oh, my dad's on dope again. My mom just called. My dad's on dope again. I'm like, I wanted to talk to him about it. And this black kid, he's like, I was talking to him. He's talking about how he's experienced some racism. You know, these things like this, it's adversities that they're getting, they're going to cover it up over time. I did. I covered it up. I've been in recovery for 6 years. I know I covered up my pain with drugs. That's just what I've done. And it's still there, you know, but now it's gone. I've dealt with it. So it's a delicate situation where these kids can't even talk to their parents about anything without being yelled at, without being talked down to or anything else. They're innocent. They're caught up in these cycles of adversity and they're innocent. They was just put there. They was consciously put there, and we got to help them. And that's what I want to do. And that's what we're doing here with this program. Sorry about the rant.
Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate everything you do for these kiddos. All
Appreciate
right.
you.
I'm going to now ask our second speaker to share. We have Julie Brewer with the Ollie Otter Booster Seat Safety Program.
That's me, guys. Thanks for giving me some time to chat this morning. I'm going to try to share my screen. I can never get this part right, though. Maybe. Let's see what I can do. Is that it? Wrong screen. Does that look like the right one? Anyone?
I think you had the first one correct, and now we just see your desktop.
Okay, I can never do it, I tell you. So let's see. How about now? This is funny. Now?
Yes, now we see a crowd.
Hey. Sorry, guys. I won't claim to be the technical whiz that Shannon just pulled off because that was amazing. So thanks for letting us be here. I'm Julie with the Occupant Protection Center for the state of Tennessee. I am a child passenger safety technician instructor, and I work here at Tennessee Tech University with a whole office full of people that are really passionate about traffic safety and injury prevention in motor vehicle crashes. We've been in this office leading the Occupant Protection Center for going into our third year. It's a project through the Tennessee Highway Safety Office to prevent or to educate and try to prevent motor vehicle crash injuries because the leading cause of injury and death, or a leading cause, I'm sorry, of death and serious injury for children ages 1 to 16 is motor vehicle crashes. And we all have experienced probably a minor crash in our lifetime, maybe a major crash, maybe a loved one that's been involved in a major crash or a minor crash. And it is devastating to the kids in our environment when they see somebody going through healing processes from that kind of an event, but it's also something it's something they have no control over. So as the children, our goal is to take one of our programs to them and help them and encourage them by educating them on how they can take care of themselves, but also be a guiding voice for the parents and whoever else is caregiving for them. So in 2004, Tennessee state law changed and required kids to use booster seats until their 9th birthday, which is a very unpopular opinion for a lot of kids in our elementary schools. That's like your 3rd and 4th grade kids. But in actuality, most kids don't measure up to the correct, placement of a seatbelt until they're between ages 10 and 12, which is an even more unpopular concept. No 12-year-old wants to tell their peers that they sit in a booster seat. That would be a very demeaning. It's just there's such a stigma with booster seats. But the idea with our program for the elementary age group kids is to teach them that it's across the board. It's 90% of the kids in their classes that should be using booster seats. So how many of you guys have ever heard of the Ollie Otter program? And I guess I can't really tell because I can't see everybody, but the Ollie Otter program, we've been around since 2007, 8. We have a statewide presence in the elementary schools. Hopefully visiting a good chunk of them over the course of the past 15 years. We have, everybody likes to keep their number count, and we've reached over 1 million kids with over the course of that time frame. And we have extra volunteers that help participate with us. Some of the folks from right up there in Elizabeth and TCAT, they were a really solid support group for many years. And then obviously with COVID, a lot of our volunteer network really diminished. But some of the additional things that we try to put up in the communities in the school vicinity is just signage that presents a positive message, because as you can see in some of the images, the mascot is the main focus of the Ollie Otter program, and he's a fun mascot worn by a real live person, hopefully, who has a lot of spunk and a lot of energy and just a desire to be a rock star for the kids that he's getting to meet that day. But those signs are placed throughout the school campuses and can be, whatever kind of outreach community center, that kind of thing. But it presents a positive message. And usually there's a sponsor that has paid for the sign. So that sponsor gets the recognition of promoting that injury prevention message too. So that's one part of it. But like I said, we had a lot of volunteer involvement and a lot of community engagement with the program, which builds those strong relationships with our law enforcement or our child passenger safety advocates, any firemen, paramedics, EMS, that type of thing, healthcare professionals that have an interest in sharing a safety message with the kids. Those are great community relations. Shannon talked about how the building the community relations really builds the self-esteem in the kids, and having all these extra leaders in the community come in and help partner with us to deliver this message really it instills in those kids a sense of value. And so that's one of the side effects of having a fun presentation and meeting, an officer with a badge and authority. It builds that, that connection, that personal connection, because the officer gives each one of those kids a high five and an encouraging message that we care about you. And we're not out to get you and put you in jail. We're out to protect you and help guide you with the right education. So those are some of, subtle messages that happen through the presentation. So another thing that happens to be a really good side effect is we have some foundation support where we're able to actually help families get the booster seats, because again, I don't know what the statistics are for the state of Tennessee, but what you said about Carter County being, I think you said 25% is below the poverty line. And sometimes the difference for a family, they might need a booster seat, but that's $20 for a booster seat or $20 for groceries or, those new shoes and things like that. So hopefully we'll be able to support some of the distribution of seats to those families, and working with the coalition would be a great way to help us get our resources into the hands of the community. So some of the fun things that happen after a presentation is just some classroom activities where the kids are, to get into a school system is a really challenging thing because their time is dedicated to academics. So we built some online resources and some printable materials to actually help with curriculum guidelines. And so those teachers can complete the activities and check off their boxes. So it's a win-win for a school system to have Ollie presentations because they're able to meet those guidelines, and it also helps get this information to their families. So with COVID restrictions and changes in, open doors from school systems, we had to shift gears too. And just like we're meeting now on Zoom, Ollie adapted, and the program has a pretty streamlined presentation where using the technology, we're able to do a virtual presentation. And so we have a new website that helps us kind of keep track of it and guide the resources to the teachers and things like that. So I was just reading my screen and it said OLLI programs have gone viral, but it's virtual. So just it's what it's the small font, so I couldn't read it. But anyway, and some of the cool spin-offs from OLLI is that because we're hitting a niche or concept there, this is actually not just a Tennessee kind of issue for our kids being, it's a country, a statewide or a national kind of issue. The statistic I showed about the kids being needing a booster seat to make the seatbelt fit them better from age 10 to 12, that's a national statistic. That was through research from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and some newest results from a study done by the National Safety Council show that 90% of kids who are in age 6 to 12 should be using a booster seat, and they're not. So that's a huge, to me, that's mind blowing. Somewhere along the line, those kids and their families haven't been given a message that this is one of the most dangerous activities you can do is ride around in your vehicle as far as physical injury goes. And a booster seat would be the one thing that reduces that risk of injury for those kids. So hopefully our program is going to keep pushing towards a national message, but keeping it strong, keeping it going in Tennessee is really important. So we built an app for caregivers and parents, and just the general public can access this app. It's got a lot of great resources in it. It's the Tennessee Child Passenger Safety app. It's available in Android and app and iTunes. But basically it has a car seat checker. So parents or whoever it is can plug in the age, weight, and height of a child, and it will tell them what the best type of car seat is for best practice. What's going to keep their child, provide the most security in a vehicle for that child. Then it goes through, there's a little section on the types of child restraints, from infant only to rear facing to forward facing to booster, and then eventually seatbelt. But a lot of those, everything links out to the expert resources, because we're not claiming to be the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration with all the data and all of that background, but we do know where to get to them. So those links are what you would get to from inside the app. Locally, right here in Tennessee, part of the program that I run is facilitating our child passenger safety fitting station resources. I know Elizabethton has some techs up in that area. Johnson City PD is a fabulous, great resource for child passenger safety trained advocates. So CPS technicians are folks that have gone through a 24, 30, 32-hour certification course with basic child passenger safety education on the components of a vehicle occupant protection system in your car, from what airbag effects are to how to lock a seatbelt in the older model cars all the way up to the newest models of vehicles. And it's a lot of things that parents don't necessarily think about, but a vehicle owner's manual and a car seat manual are sometimes the least engaging pieces of education. Nobody wants to sit down and read a vehicle manual or a car seat manual. So the technician becomes that person who can communicate it to the parent if they have questions on making sure those seats are installed the right way. So to get to those local resources, tntrafficsafety.org/CPS will get you to a whole list of resources that the state of Tennessee offers for car seat needs, the laws, the frequently asked questions. It's amazing how many times the same question gets asked again and again and again. So those answers are posted on that website. And let's see, again, so that's the website. That's what the child passenger safety page looks like. And I'm not sure if you guys know what the actual law for the state of Tennessee is, but currently children under 1 year old and less than 20 pounds need to rear face, where it's recommended that children under 2 years old should rear face until they're have outgrown the max height and weight of their actual car seat. So most car seats go up to somewhere around a 40-pound range rear facing, which takes a child a long way. And a rear facing child, being rear facing decreases the risk of injury like 64, 67%. So to the head, neck, and spine, those are obviously the most at-risk parts of the body for a little guy. And then kids can't actually start using a booster seat until they're 4 years old. And so we have a huge percentage of our kids who are transitioning from a 5-point harnessed seat to a booster seat too early. So we have a lot of 2 and 3 year olds that are actually using a booster seat. And so that's part of our goal, is to reach those families and help them keep their kids safe in the 5-point harness longer. But then the law requires kids to use a booster seat or a belt positioning seatbelt system until they are 4 feet 9 inches tall and 9 years old. And that being said, the best practice takes them all the way up till they're 4 feet 9 or till they can pass that 5-step test. So those are all resources that you can find on the TN Traffic Safety page. But I guess our goal here today, I brought Daphne Engel is also with me. She is the state coordinator for the Ollie Otter program. The Ollie Otter program is basically a 30-minute presentation for kids in elementary age schools. It could be after school programs. It could be homeschool groups. It could be just a table event at a community safety day or something like that, where we would be able to attend and distribute materials. But our biggest goal is to actually connect with local advocates. So folks like you guys who are already mentoring and contributing and positive messaging, we want to help. Our resources are always free because it's grant funded, and there sometimes are barriers to us actually traveling. I mean, we're in Cookeville, so that's almost 4 hours to get over there to you guys. But we still want to see our resources provided to you guys. So advocates, local advocates, we would share our materials, ship Ollie costumes to you, or to have you join us during virtual presentations. So those are just some of the fun things. Daphne, I'm not sure if you had, I didn't ask you to prepare anything, but I might throw you on the spot to see if you had a few comments to add about a role that volunteers would be able to play. See, she didn't even have her camera on. So, so yeah, Daphne, why don't you share a little bit about what a virtual presentation actually entails?
So with the virtual presentation, and sorry, we're about to actually go do a presentation in Livingston, so I'll keep it short. But for a virtual presentation, basically we would probably need somebody from the community, like a child passenger safety technician or someone who's involved in this area to help us spread the message, the Ollie Otter message. And we could also send you a Ollie mascot suit so that you could volunteer to be Ollie during the presentation. So yeah, the presentation.
So you get them to be Ollie in the suit. So I don't know how many of you guys, this might be a great job for some of those ETSU students that are on with us right now. And you can get Tennessee Promise community service hours too. This would apply towards that type.
Yeah, so it's a great way to get volunteer hours and be a positive impact in your community. So we are going to go to this presentation now. It was great seeing everybody today, and thank you so much.
So that brings our presentation to a close, but you can reach out to either Daphne or myself if you have questions about, specifically, you can reach out to Daphne at dangle@tntech.edu. But if you had child passenger safety specific questions, I'd be glad to talk to you guys and see how we can, just partner. So I'm not sure if anybody has any questions for us, but that's our programs in a nutshell.
Julie, did you put your email in the chat?
I sure will.
Thank you. That was very helpful. Thank you very much.
Julie, would you mind to share this presentation with me so I can send it out to the full group as well?
Yeah, I'd love to. And like I said, there's no, whatever you guys are, whatever kind of activities as a coalition you guys are completing, or if you see that there's a niche anywhere in there, I would love to, be a resource to either try to find additional resources to connect you guys with the local person that I am working with, that's a child passenger safety advocate. But at the same time, if there's anybody in the group that feels strongly about promoting child passenger safety or occupant protection, we have team programs too that we try to work with the teen driver age group, because there's so many reasons why teen drivers need more training and more education and positive peer guidance. And so that's one of the concepts of our programming for our teens. It's called Reduce TN Crashes, and maybe you guys have heard of it, maybe not, but that's another. It's all about the positive messaging to empower folks and making the right decisions. So yeah, I will send this presentation to you for sure, Jillian, but I don't mind. I'm not sure if I can stick around on the rest of the meeting and hear what else is going on, or if I should check out. So you tell me.
Thank you so much, Julie, for being here. We appreciate all the information that you shared. Any other questions for Julie before we move on? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and open up our breakout rooms. So for those of you who may not have been part of this before, I'm going to share quickly what the 3 breakout rooms are. The first one is our substance use and mental health breakout room that's led by Brooke Jones. They work on our magazine and do some things specific to substance abuse, trauma, mental health. Our second breakout room is our Action and Awareness Committee. So this is the one where folks are kind of doing action out in the community. So the Healthy Tailgate next week is sponsored by this committee. Christmas and Thanksgiving programs and those kinds of things are sponsored by this committee. And then our third committee is our Data Collection Committee. This is led by Dr. Tony DeLucia with Jane Harper and Emily Brooks. Helping him kind of lead that group. And so if you're interested in community needs assessments and data collection and those kinds of things, that would be a great fit for you. So I'm going to open the rooms, and please feel free to join whichever one you want to join.
Thank you for that information. I can't believe how much that has changed over the past, year and a half, year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have the one from last year as well. If you want me to send that to you, Shannon, just to kind of compare. Most of the numbers are pretty similar, but the income has changed. And there's a couple other things on there too that I can certainly post in there as well.
Yeah, I noticed the income's changed by 5,000.
Mhm.
That's good, but it's also, it is still what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, please give us some updated numbers. I appreciate that because I don't
Yeah,
want to.
absolutely. Yeah, I'll send you that one. I'll include that as well. And it is good, but at the same time, when we consider the increased price of groceries and whatnot, we're kind of seeing, that discrepancy there as well, with the cost of living going up as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody for coming back together. Can we have somebody from Committee A share a little bit about what they are working on or what they talked about in their group today?
Okay, so in Committee A, we went over just the different objectives that we are supposed to be focusing on in our group, just so we can all get on the same page. And so we focused a lot on social media and what we can do to kind of increase awareness and that kind of thing for mental health and substance use. And so we wanted to share NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is sponsoring the National Mental Illness Awareness Week. And they have a lot of awesome webinars on Zoom coming up this week. And so we wanted to share those so that, and the cool thing is it's after hours. So it's after typical work hours. So a lot more people will be able to join those if they prefer, if they would like to. So we want to share something like that. And October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and that's sponsored by the World Health Organization. And so we kind of want to bring some light to that as well. And I mean, the purpose of this is just to kind of reduce stigma and, bring hope to those who have mental illness, and that there's treatment, and it should be treated like, it should be checked on like your physical health as well. We also talked a lot about just different things that we could also add to the magazine coming up in December. So.
Thank you, Brooke. I will share for Committee B. We talked about kind of the needs in the community for November and December. Some folks wanted to do some projects around kind of winter weather. Some folks talked about seniors and supporting them. So we landed on a couple different things. One is supporting a youth project. They are currently gathering art supplies and creating videos for seniors to kind of give them something to do during the winter months. And so we said we would support that project, kind of help them either add to their bags or create a meal to go with those bags or something to support those youth in that project. And then we also talked about the Ryan Witten coat drive that he does every year, and we want to support that project. And so really that will be just encouraging folks that have old coats laying around to take those to Witten Huddle so that we can distribute them to people who need them in the community. So those will be our two kind of November focuses. And then again, last shameless plug for our event coming up next week, the Healthy Tailgate and Crock Pot and Grilling event. So please come to that next Thursday. Yeah, that's kind of where we are. And then I'll ask Committee C to share an update.
Hi there, this is Jane. I'll be representing Committee C today. We were going over an agenda that Emily had created for us, and we, like Committee A, we're revisiting our objectives and identifying the highest priorities. And we're going to figure out how to have a standing meeting between each of these monthly meetings so that we can, once we have our priority set, start parsing out the work among folks who have strengths in some of the different activities. So you'll be hearing more from us in the future.
Awesome. Thank you all for everything you're doing to support this work through the collaborative. Anybody else have anything before we go? All right, well, we will see you the first Thursday in November on the same link at 12 o'clock. Thanks, everybody.